In this tutorial, we're going to use Photoshop CC 2020 to use the vanishing point filter to create mock-ups with the correct perspective. So you see what we've done here is taken the milk carton and added this dirty cow logo. And the vanishing point allows us to wrap that around the item. If we didn't use the vanishing point, it would look like this. And I'm sure you've tried to in the past, play with these, trying to make them fit right, just, make it work, but sometimes it doesn't because you can just tell that the angles are off. So that's why we want to use the vanishing point. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm going to close that one. Close that one. So when I'm going to go ahead and do this, it's much easier to start with a mock-up that has just one layer as far as the image goes that you're going to be putting the vanishing point onto. So make sure you've gone ahead and opened up the dirty cow, or gotten the dirty cow logo and the carton. I'm going to go ahead and open the dirty cow logo. So I've got that as well. So first thing we're going to do with this carton is do a file, save as, first initial, last name, underscore dirty cow dot PSD. Alright, next thing, let's go ahead and do a image. Let's do image size. Right now it's 41 by 27, which is a lot too big for our purposes. Let's go ahead and change that width to 9, so it's a little bit bigger than a piece of paper. And our height's going to automatically turn to 6 because the proportion is on. And let's bump that up to 300 on our resolution. So we're always in the practice of creating things for print, and our resample 2.0 is on. Let's say OK. Alright, so now we have shrunk it by quite a bit. Let's go ahead and go to our dirty cow. With the vanishing point, you have to have whatever you're going to be pasting onto the other item copied before you can start the process, or it will not work. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to our dirty cow. Let's go to the thumbnail on the layers panel. It has to be the actual thumbnail with a little white around it. I'm going to right click and do select pixels. So it's going to select all the pixels in there. And I'm going to do a Control C to copy, or you can go to edit and copy. I'm now going to come into my carton that I want to put it onto. Let's go ahead and add a new layer, the little plus sign at the bottom, so that I have a place to put that on there, or make sure we're on that new layer. Let's go to filter. Let's come down here to vanishing point. And we want to create a new plane. So we're going to make sure that we've got this mesh tool on. And we're going to draw a plane based on it has to be a square. Circles do not work super well. So now if I go ahead and paste, I'm going to go ahead and paste it in so you can kind of see what's going on. It'll only go into that plane that I have established right now. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. So now I can go ahead and I want to wrap this plane around the rest of the carton so it'll wrap around both sides. In order to do that, I want to hit Control and pull this middle grabber. And I'm going to have to use the adjustments now and move these, kind of make it so they adjust to my carton a little bit better. So when I'm happy with that, alright, now I'm going to go ahead and do a Control V and paste that in. So I can see it's pretty big. When I roll it over, I can tell it's huge compared to the carton. So I can undo. I can hit T for transform. I'm going to get those transform bars. I'm going to hold Shift and pull it so it's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and grab it and pull it around. So it's a little bit big still. But if I'm happy with it, I would go ahead and push OK. So what happens if I didn't transform it first? Let's go ahead and paste it back in. So I bring it here. You can't see it. You want to make sure it's much smaller. So I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to hit that T for transform. You've got to make sure you can see the dotted lines. Then you can hold Shift and bring it down and bring it over to make it a little bit smaller. So if you can't see the edges, that is why. So kind of decide how and where you want that dirty cow logo to go on that milk carton. Make sure it is pretty much exactly the way you want it before you start. Otherwise, it's really, really hard to go back and undo and readjust these. It's just much easier to get it the way you want first. So now that I'm good with it, I'm going to go ahead and say OK. So now I can see I've got my dirty cow on there. If I go into my layer 1, I can go into my filter, go into Vanishing Point, and you'll see that you can adjust the filter, but trying to grab what is on the filter is really, really hard. So that's why you want to make sure you've got what you want in advance. Otherwise, it's easier just to start completely over. All right, so for what you're going to do for the rest of the assignment, I want you to find another image. There are a couple more in the folder, and I want you to create a second Vanishing Point sample, and you're going to save that one as an on your own. There are lots and lots of different mock-ups and things out there. A lot of those use what's called smart objects, which is not what we're doing for this assignment. For this assignment, we're really just learning how to do the Vanishing Point. So it works great if you're trying to make product mock-ups. You see these a lot of times with t-shirts and bags and books. So play with it. You can come up with some really fun stuff.